everyone. So welcome to my October reading wrap up and November TBR. And it is also my first wrap up video ever. Other booktubers are probably thinking, wait Jazz, why haven't you ever done a wrap up video? Well, when I started this channel, I didn't actually know that wrap up videos were a thing. And then after I realized that, I really wanted to do one, but I do this probably not very good thing where I read like 6 or 7 books at the same time, and sometimes when you do that, you don't actually finish a book in a month. So I decided to decrease the number of books that I read at the same time so that I could actually do monthly wrap-up videos now. So I'm uber excited, and today we're going to talk about what I read in October. I just realized that my shirt is exactly the same color as my wall. So that was weird planning. Moving on. The first book that I completed in October was actually a comic book, and it was She-Hulk Volume 1, Single Green Female. I really love that title. This collects the first 6 issues of, I want to say, the 2004 comic of She-Hulk, and it was very fun to read because I had never read a She-Hulk comic before. I'd only read about She-Hulk on things like Wikipedia or something, and I had a lot of fun with this first volume. It does have this really fun humor, and I loved seeing her idiosyncrasies because she's very wacky fun party girl character, and I think it's very interesting that she, you know, likes to stay in her Hulk form all the time. Like when she's in her normal form, she's like gross humanity. I would suggest, if you don't know anything about She-Hulk as a character at all, you might want to peruse a Wikipedia before reading this, because it does do a tiny bit of her backstory, but it doesn't do a ton of it. It kind of jumps right into the action of the thing. So if you want to know a little bit more about She-Hulk, you probably should check out some additional information, but there's enough information in this comic if you want to jump right into it too, so I say go for it. The next book I completed was Soulless, which is the first book in the Parasol Proctorate. I'm gonna go with Proctorate series. It is a story that takes place in a alternate history in which the vampires and werewolves and ghosts and other supernatural beings of the world are well known to the public. And in this world, a character named Alexa is a preternatural. She was born without a soul, and thus she has the ability, when she comes in contact with these other supernatural creatures, to kind of nullify their powers temporarily. This book contains a lot of mystery and a lot of hilarity, and it's steampunky, and it was just a fun world to be part of, and I really enjoyed it, and I read it so incredibly quick, and I'm probably going to go ahead and try to finish the series, even though I'm not great at finishing series, but I'm going to give it a good all-American try because I really like the first book. Then I completed Life and Death by Stephanie Meyer, which is part of the 10th anniversary version of Twilight. It's basically all the characters that were girls in the original are boys, and all the characters that were boys are girls. So it's a gender flip, except for a few characters like Charlie and Renee. Those are the same, and it's basically what would happen if that happened, and also what would happen if the series had just not been a series, if it had just ended at the first book. I thought this was really interesting. I really enjoyed this. In some elements, I almost enjoyed a little bit more than the original, but I still wouldn't have changed the series because I'm one of those few people that like Breaking Dawn, and well, Breaking Dawn, if Bella had been a boy named Bo, would not have been able to happen. So, you know, I wouldn't change it, but I did really enjoy this interpretation of it as well. It actually came at perfect timing because without even thinking about it being the 10-year anniversary, I had already decided to reread the whole series. So I'd already reread all of the books this year anyway, and so thus I could accurately compare the two versions with the original fresh in my mind. Then I got this awesome pocket edition of The Hobbit, and it's so cute and adorable and like almost Hobbit size. I just love it. So I of course had to read The Hobbit again, but when I say again, I actually decided to actually read it for myself because I realized that I'd never actually physically read The Hobbit. I'd only had it read to me in grade school, and I probably should actually read it with my own eyeballs. So I really enjoyed reading it with my own eyeballs and actually getting the full force of the adventure and actually remembering some of the parts that I completely forgot. Reading this actually made me want to give Lord of the Rings a second go. I didn't hate Lord of the Rings, but I don't think I liked it as much as I should have because I liked the first book a whole lot, and the second book I didn't really care for, and then the third book was just kind of like, I like you, but I'm still coming off of the not really liking the second book thing. So I think now that I'm more versed in the style of the way Tolkien writes, I will probably maybe enjoy Lord of the Rings a second time through if I give it a go. So thank you, Hobbit, for inspiring me to want to reread Lord of the Rings. Next, I finally decided to jump on the Rainbow Rowell, is that how you say your name? Rainbow Rowell train, and read Fangirl because I was one of the few booktubers that had never read Fangirl, and I'm kind of sorry that it took me so long to get to it. It's super fun because I'm a big fan fiction reader, and it definitely has my lingo in it because it's about a girl named Kath who is obsessed with a particular fandom and she likes to write fan fiction for it. It was hilarious. It was a quirky romance. You gotta love a quirky romance, or at least I love one. I liked all the characters. I kind of didn't want it to end when it ended. I was like, no, wait, what do you mean there's no more book? My mom is reading it now, and I swear she laughed for like 15 minutes at one scene. It was hilarious. I'm really excited to make a review video for this. Like, super excited. Lastly, because I was already on the Rainbow Rowell train, I decided to read Eleanor and Park, which is set in 1986. It's about two sort of quirky characters meeting and falling in love, and it's awesome and bittersweet, and just, it had so many feels. I don't know if I even have words for how many feels I got from Eleanor and Park. I just super loved it. Let's just leave it at that. And why did it take me so long to read Rainbow Rowell? Like, what was wrong with me? On to my November TBR, which is less of a to be read and more of a please finish the books that you've started, Jess. Like I said, I like to read a lot of books at the same time. So I'm reading 4 books currently, and the priority is to finish these 4 books. First of all, I've started this little monster, The War of the Flowers. I call it a little monster because it's like 800 pages, but it seems to be a fun 800 pages. Like, I don't know, 150 pages in, and I'm having a lot of fun reading it. Another book that I'm reading is Changeless, which is the second book in the Parasol Proctorate series. This book is priority, so I'm not really reading that one as quickly as I read the first one. So, but that's not a big deal. I usually read Changeless when I'm having to read something on ebook in the dark, so something that I read like right before bed. Yes, because you should always read about vampires and werewolves when you're about to go to sleep. But that's kind of what I do with Changeless, but I still am really enjoying the book so far, so hopefully I will complete it this month. Other book that I'm reading is a collection of comic books. It is the first volume of Mind the Gap. It is something that I read the first 2 issues of like a while back, and I decided now to try to, now that I know that I like it, to try to complete the rest of the whole series. So I'm going to start with volume 1. Hopefully I'll finish it this month, and maybe I'll try to finish the other ones if I finish this month. And I'm excited to see where the story goes because it's a serious mystery. And lastly, I need to finish my audiobook of The Girl Who Played with Fire. I think I've been listening to this audiobook for like 3 months. I believe that I actually finished this book in print faster than I'm finishing this audiobook. So I definitely need to try to finish this audiobook within the realm of sanity, hopefully this month. And I only have 10 more chapters. The only issue with this, even though I'm really enjoying it in an audiobook, is that it's getting to where like the chapters are now 40 minutes long, and sometimes I just don't have that 40 minutes. So I'm going to try to set a little bit more time aside for finishing The Girl Who Played with Fire. I really want to finish all 3 books of the Millennium series, or the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know yet if I'm going to read the new book that was written by a different author. I might give it a go, but it's not really priority, so we'll see about that. But I definitely need to finish a second book a little faster in audiobook because it's taking me too long. So that was my October wrap up and my November to be read sort of thing. And I will see you next week with another video, and that is all, folks. So thanks for watching.